Hello everyone. Today we're gonna talk about a little bit about completing these 10 acts. Let me just start that off. Okay, is this working? Yes, awesome. So, why is it going? Let me go back. Okay, so because well, the ExileCon ended. We all are super hyped about the Path of Exile 2 and the new league, of course, which looks very promising. I believe some people are saying that maybe the end of the PoE 1. I believe these two games are going to be kind of separate and different in a way, which is kind of awesome because if you're bored of one, you can just always go for another one, right? So that's really great. Anyway, today I want to tell you a little bit about completing 10 acts and how are actually making it, how you are capable of doing that, and how what kind of resources you need to get and what kind of information you need to acquire to actually complete these 10 acts as a new player, because I believe that after the ExileCon, some people from Diablo, some people from other MMORPGs may be a little bit more interested in PoE, and it's a complex game. What can I say? It's a really complex game that is not so easy to go for. Okay, so I believe we're gonna start with before class, okay? This is something that we need to talk about a little bit before actually jumping in, which is statistics. We have three statistics: strength, dexterity, and intelligence, and these statistics are going to determine informations about your class, information about what you are going to go for, informations about skill gems and armor, because items are dependent on statistics. So I'm gonna show you real quick with my PoE that for instance this wood is requiring you to have level 2. Okay, that's a simple one. Let's take look at, let's say, this helmet. Okay, this helmet requires us to have level 70 and 150 dexterity. Okay, so for someone whose character is more on a it's more of a, give me a second, it's more of a strength side, is going to have problems with that, right? So that's kind of something we want to avoid. Okay, so we have class choices. They're pure classes, which are only one statistics, and they're hybrid classes, which are multiple statistics. Well, in this case, two, of course. So we have Marauder, we have Ranger, and we have Witch. Here we have Shadow, Duelist, and Templar. So Marauder is going to be the class that is going to be very strong, very tanky, usually a little bit slower in just movement speed. However, the utility abilities like Sleep Slam or Frost Blink are going to just work with that, right? It's going to be pretty small of AoE. However, the damage on one enemy is going to be pretty significant. Now Ranger, which is also my favorite class, is a great choice for people who like to zoom, kill a lot of stuff. However, be a little bit glass cannon, not necessarily, depending on the build. But in some cases you're going to be glass cannon compared to other builds, which is an also great choice. It is often associated with minions and elemental damage. This is going to be some builds that are ideally playing with lots of lots of skills, lots of minions, lots of different skills, right? So for instance, Cold Dot, which is going to use 4 different abilities. This is for some people who like to combo many abilities in one and to connect them maybe with minions or any sort of specters that you can summon. Shadow is going to be a class that you're going to go for whenever you like to also zoom, be fast and go for it quickly. But you also like many drops, a little bit chaos damage over time. Chaos damage is like just different elemental damage, however this is separate in a system. It's going to be traps, it's going to be mines, it's going to be some chaos damage over time, and it's going to be usually less tanky than most of the classes. However, it is going to do just fine with energy shield and evasion rating. Jesus Christ, the dogs. Now, Duelist is going to be a great choice, in my opinion, the best choice for starter classes. You have great builds like Garathas, Lightning Arrow, like Zizoran's Elemental, Explosive Arrow. Absolutely my favorite for league starting. Ranger is good whenever you have some budget to work with. However, Duelist is great whenever you start. He's very tanky, he's very fast. Most of the abilities that are in meta are going to work for him. Corrupting Fever, Lightning Arrow, as I said, Explosive Arrow, Ballista. He is also very well situated on the Atlas passive tree. I mean, well, on the passive tree, which I'm gonna explain to you in a second. And here we have a Templar as well. This guy is going to be using match of totems, different combination of melee and elemental, but he's also going to be very tanky and maybe more melee than the Witch. So this is a great choice whenever you kind of want to steal elemental damage, but also some tankiness with it, some life, and maybe some survivability that will let you just survive an attack from a boss. Okay. So how do you clear areas? So now let's say you've chosen the class you wanted. You've picked it, you find some build, I'm gonna explain how can we find builds just at the end, and you found some build, and now we are in the stage of starting to run the arenas. So what I am trying to protect you from is slow playing of acts. We want to zoom through acts. We don't want to kill every monster, we want to just do the objective. If we find one, we can kill rare on magic monster. We can do the objectives and go. Right, so for instance, a second area, mud flats, we need to find 3 shells, put them in some place and go forward. And you only do that. You are not looking for monsters, you're not killing everything. Try to kill as little enemies as possible. Usually just kill enemies that can harm you, right? So if you're close to dying, well then shoot them, right? Don't ignore them, don't die. Shoot the enemies, right? But most of the cases you are not going to run through every piece and corner of the area just to kill one monster. This is inefficient and this is going to be painful. As I was playing my first build, which was Animate Weapon Witch, I've been sitting in mud floods for 10 minutes. Now as I am after 1500 hours in the game, I am running mud floods in 3 minutes. Which is also probably, someone would say it's too slow, but yeah. So you are trying to just do the objective and go. Really kill as little as possible. You still are going to kill plenty of monsters because they are going to attack you, especially in mudflats. Those guys are really annoying. Okay. So how do I know what objective should I do? Here we have a PoE leveling. I'm gonna show you real quick how it looks like. This is based on Zizeran's league start. As you can see, Zizeran is someone who is really giving a lot to the community and is a great person. You can find his guides, they're going to be much more in details, they're going to be great, and unfortunately they're going to be pretty long and pretty really overwhelming at first, but they are going to be something you are looking for whenever you don't understand every single thing. Okay, so we have Act 1. Look, every single element is explained here, right? What should we do? When should we do it? Here we also have some tips, general tips, and for acts tips. Usually you are going to equip your main ability at 12 or on the 3rd act. That's usually how it looks like, right? So you can easily see many of the things that you need to do. This may again overwhelm you, but if you get into the game and actually check, oh, this is a weapon, this is something, you will kind of understand it, okay? So now I'm gonna show you on the tree, as we are already here, where are we starting as characters, because it's something I have not explained. As you can see, these little points are the starting points for many classes, right? So for each class has its own spawn point, let's say. Okay, so here we're gonna have a Marauder. This here is going to be where these 3 subclasses, which I'm gonna get to later, are developing, right? So here usually it's going to be life and strength nodes, some stun I believe, some axe, some hammer, maybe mace, sword. Here you're gonna have a duelist. There's going to be some usually attack speed, maybe some knife, some bow, but also these ones, you know, just generally some sort of area like that. Here we have a ranger, which is like taking mostly attack speed and bow, projectile, yes, and like maybe sword, because ranger is often playing with sword. I mean rider here, this subclass. Okay, here we have a shadow. Shadow is using somewhat of that. Here we have the chaos mastery that I was talking about. Here we have some mines, some traps, some daggers, just a little bit of a roguish kind of style. We have curses, also very popular. Here we have a witch. There is going to be plenty of elemental, some summoning, some wand mastery, some minions. Here we have a Templar. You're gonna grab some energy shield, stun, a life, but more importantly some fire, some critical, some again fire, very much fire-ish like, but also elemental. Yeah, and here you have Scion, which is the class that I have not noted because I believe it is not necessarily important to know it. This is a class that is starting in the middle. Very difficult, very situational. If you don't know the builds too well, don't pick it. Actually, I haven't picked it yet. The builds are crazy hard. Doing acts is just absolutely terrifying and you should avoid it for now. Okay, now we're gonna go back. Let's say, what do we equip at first, right? Because, like, what kind of, oh my god, no, we're not doing that. What kind of statistics we're looking for items. So sometimes whenever you run in the ground, you are going to find some items, right? Let's say here. We are going to find some items, right? Let's run here maybe a little bit. And let's find some enemies. Okay, and like we killed some enemies, and sometimes they're gonna drop an item. I don't know why they haven't dropped one yet. They should probably. But okay. Oh my god. That's unlucky. No items really? I have no filter on. Jesus. Okay, there we go. And sometimes you're gonna drop like some items, right? And so they have mods on them. So if we use Scroll of Wisdom that identifies an unidentified item, we can see some statistics. And again, going back, we are looking for elemental resistances, maximum life, and some sort of build statistics. So in my case, for instance, let's take in account my armor, right? This guy is having some life, 107, some resistances, cold resistances, lightning resistances, and the kind of build more of a statistics, which is for me going to be the determination, has increased aura, and chance to surpass spell damage. This is actually a very defensive item. Like on the mace, you're usually going to find, and on the weapons, you're usually going to find mostly mods that are going to be related to the build, right? This is completely related to the build, okay. But these are the three kind of things you are looking for. Now we're gonna talk about sockets and links. So as you could see, every weapon has link and a socket. Socket are those little balls. You can put your gems in there, right? Boom, and it's in there. And it is linked with each other, okay? So like whenever we have a link, that means these two are corresponding. Actually, if you're like going mouse on it, hovering on it, you can see which ones are highlighted. I believe I don't have any unlinked. No, I have one. So here, for instance, these three are going to be highlighted. Why isn't this one? Well, because it is not working with these ones. So you have 5-star attack support and shield charge, and these are kind of separate. Even if they're linked, not everyone is working with each other. And actually, if you, I believe, alt, no, but there was something that you could check which one is working with which. I believe it's in the shop. So that's how it looks like here. For instance, also you can see which ones are working. Usually it's going to be one highlighted. This is the Phantasmal Spectral Shield Roll that is going to work with every single one of them, okay? Yeah, and sockets have colors generally. Red, green, and blue, sometimes white, but we're not gonna get into details on that. And you are going to look for some of that, okay? I'm going to showcase a build soon on YouTube, I believe. It's going to be the Scissors Explorer, oh my god. I can't talk today. Explosive Arrow Ballista. And so in this case, we are going to start with Speeding Steel, that is, and some other, I believe, supports, and it's going to be two green sockets and one red socket. So that's the item we kind of look for. So we look for some bow that is going to be mostly, that is going to have just this kind of properties that we're looking for, okay? So we're gonna go into crafting and usage of currency, okay? Oh my god. What is going on? Okay. Here are some terms and some items, okay? So we're gonna talk about these terms first. I'm gonna actually start from the middle. Magic, rare, and normal items, okay? Magic, rare, and normal items. This is the class kind of an item, okay? Magic is going to be the blue item, rare is going to be the yellow item, and normal is going to be a white item. So here we got some rare items, right? They are yellow. Here I have a normal item, and I don't think I have any blue with me, but you get the point. Here we have a blueprint, or a flask. So depending on the class I'm calling it a class, but it's like a rarity of an item, you are going to use different currency. So these currency items that I have pointed here are mainly used, they are just used for the magic items, and I'm gonna show you real quick how this is working. Often you are going only actually to go with these ones going through acts. You should not probably use any chaos orb, any divine orb whatsoever. So let's go to my stash tab, and we're gonna take some item. Okay, I've been practicing this shit, so here we have it. So we have this driftwood wood. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this. This is orb of transmutation, orb of alteration, and orb of argumentation perhaps. Orb of argument, usually called. Okay, so orb of transmission, it says that upgrade a normal item into magic item. That's a pretty straightforward situation. Okay, and we got some stuff, right? This is actually really nice. We got +1 of all fire spell skills gems. So if we would play like some elementalist that is looking for fire, we can use that bow. Okay, but let's say we don't want it. We want to roll it. We want something else. Okay, maybe we wanted the flat damage, right? Flat damage is basically just adds X to X, right? So this is the flight lightning, and let's say I wanted that one. Okay, but that's not enough, you know. So I'm gonna go to our hideout. I don't remember actually when do you unlock hideout. I believe it's like pretty early on. You have crafting bench in your hideout, and you can choose modifiers to put on it. Why can't I choose these prefixes? Here we go, prefixes and suffixes. Every item has prefix and suffix. Rare items can have 6 in total, 3 suffixes and 3 prefixes. And magic items can have 1 of each. Okay, so I can only craft suffix on this one. And here you are going to use usually the resistances, because we need to cap resistances. So this is going to be in the slide real quick. So whenever we are crafting with a bench, we are trying to get the resistance is capped, which means every single resistance needs to have 75. Here you have it, fire, cold, lightning. Chaos is not counted the same way, but you should have it at least 30. This build is just fucked up in my opinion, so I don't have it. Okay, getting more life, so sometimes you're gonna use it to get the maximum life, just like here. Believe I have some. No, but usually here, maximum life, right? Very simple. And getting particular mods. Sometimes crafting merchants are going to have very interesting mods that you are in need for build, right? It can be here, for instance, chance to freeze and increased cold damage. Quite unusual one, and often we also need to get the stats, dexterity, int, and strength. Usually we try to avoid it, so we try to find items that have it already in, but if you can't, feel free to do it, right? Okay, and here we have choosing a build, right? This is the most important part, because in PoE you are not going to make your own build first time. Okay, I've been playing this game for a while, and I am still kind of afraid of doing that. So you are not going exactly to just make your own build and work with it. I may make a separate video on that, but I believe Ventura, I believe that's how was he called, made a great video about making your own build, which I may give a link in the description if I find it. A very good and comprehensive guide on how do you make your own build, but the most, I would say, important property is to have experience in the game, experience with the builds. Yeah, so choosing a build. Usually you're gonna go with the YouTubes, some trusted sources. Popular YouTubers are usually gonna have good stuff. From ones I'm using is like Zizaran, Goratha. These are 2, I would say, my favorite YouTubers that you can grab builds from. But there's plenty of them. There's plenty of popular YouTubers and less popular YouTubers that you may find good builds in. Path of Exile forum, usually the popular builds in the forum are going to be pretty good. I've been using this one for I believe Toxic Rain, Rider, and some other builds like Yeah. Okay. And here we also avoid some builds. Okay, so PoE Vault may seem like a good stuff, but usually their builds are very, I would say, just not in the right spot. Honestly, I believe they're not like taking into account many features that should be taken in. For instance, here I have actually a path of building of the elementalist, well, of the dualist that is going to use soon the explosive arrow ballista, right? So often the PoE Vault are going to lack the the starting gear, the starting skills that you need to use. It's good whenever you kind of know what's going on, okay? It's good whenever you just want to have an idea of how can I build this item or how can I make this build come true. But for starting players, I would often recommend builds and guides that have like separation in tree, because it's so much easier to track 12 nodes um, than 100 of them, right? And that have like separate skills, separate items. These are really nice guides that you need to use. Okay, any site with currency ads on it. So sometimes you will encounter a site that may have like an ad of changing currency with real money, right? So like buy divine for a dollar. First of all, this is often a scam. Second of all, these sites are mainly focused on you clicking on these ads, and the guides are just clickbait. So usually they're not really made with love, made with with actually trying to help you. They're often terrible builds that make you need to buy the currency. Okay, this is like a strategy for market, right? Make a bad build, so person needs to buy good items, and well, if they can't make the money, well, come here and buy it, right? And cheap builds. Sometimes on YouTube you're gonna find a cheap build that is going to be lower than one divine. Like it's going to be 5 divine challenge, right, and 1 divine challenge, and these builds are awful. Um, so why people catch it? Well, because very often there's a showcase of a build, right, and usually it's very particular showcase. These builds may deal damage, but they also may not even cap resistances, may have terrible life, may have terrible defenses, and usually it's really just a crap. So there's also a separation of starting and not starting builds. So for instance, I have here a not starting build because it requires a lot of currency to start with. This item maybe 15 divines. This item was actually I think 30 divines, and so on, right? But there are starting builds. I have one in my SSF category, Bone Shatter. So I'm just gonna grab it quickly and show you what I mean. SSF is also a little different. I'm not gonna get into details for now, but on SSF you can't trade. I believe I'm gonna make a trading trading tutorial. These items are generally terrible, and I am still capable of running it on having 76 level. That's a good starter build. Good starter builds are the ones who are capable of running whole content with least amount of put into it currency, crafting, and time to make it. These are going to be the builds that you can make in a week work. Okay, so Lightning Arrow Champion is the one that I was running first on the main account. And it was very easy to make. It was very simple. I made it in a week or so. Very great, okay? Yeah, and so for acts, I believe that's it. Now we're gonna just talk about ascensions, okay? Ascensions are the subclasses of every class, and every subclass is defined in the Wikipedia. I'm not gonna get into details, but so yeah. If you feel overwhelmed, good, everyone will, and everyone was. How do you get these ascensions? On third act, you are going to encounter, actually from the first act, you are going to encounter little like gates that you need to go in, and you do trial. And so whenever you do like this little puzzle slash, I don't know, labyrinth, couple of times, you are on third act unlock, you are going to on third act unlock first ascension. And so every ascension I believe has 3 points, or no, 2 points, my bad. And so in total we have 6. So we have spec into 6 different directions. And so we did that trial 3 times. This is kind of annoying in my opinion, but like, yeah, that's how it is in PoE 1. I don't know how it's going to be in PoE 2. But yeah, basically I cannot try and just close it on that, I believe, because I think that's enough to just make the axe go through. I am going to try and like just show you a little bit in the next video of how do you actually manage to do it in person. I'm gonna play these 10 acts, or at least 3 acts, and just show you kind of how are we making it. Okay, so thank you for everyone for watching. I believe I helped you as much as I could with my little experience in making videos and my one video in a channel that is completely dissociated with anything. But yeah, I hope I helped you, and I hope you're gonna enjoy the PoE because it's such a great game, and really just get into it. You have 16 days to learn. Good luck, everyone.